City is one step closer to putting a congestion pricing plan in place. That plan would charge motorists for driving into Manhattan below 60th Street during peak times. Now, the city got the green light from the Federal Highway Administration. However, a pair of New Jersey congressmen want to hit the brakes on it, calling the Garden State, calling on them, in fact, and saying that they're going to be double billed because of this plan. So Congressman Josh Gottheimer says he is ready to fight to keep that from happening, and he joins me this morning to break down the dollars and cents of this plan. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, we've been talking about congestion pricing for a while. The threat has been looming now. So this pricing plan, though, was approved by the Biden administration. It's just conceptual at this point, but New Jersey residents will be asked to pay more. Can you explain what the consists of and how we will be paying more?
Sure. So as we know right now, you go over the GW Bridge, as hundreds of thousands of people from New Jersey do every single day. And the toll is expensive, right? It could cost you $4,000 a year to commute. So you're a nurse, there's not a lot of public transportation options in northern New Jersey, unfortunately. You drive over at 5 o'clock in the morning, you get hit with your toll. Now they're talking about you going to Midtown Manhattan, getting whacked with another tax, this congestion tax. I like to call it a Manhattan moocher tax, because basically it's saying, listen, despite the fact that we always used to split things 50-50, right? The bridges, the tunnels, Port Authority since 1921. In this case, we're going to change it. We're going to hit you again with another tax, and it could cost a commuter $7,000 a year total, right? $4,000 for the toll. Now this new $3,000 a year hit. It doesn't make any sense that suddenly we would do this to each other. New York, New Jersey, when it comes to transportation infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, the airports, the tunnels, we've always had this cooperative relationship, but for some reason, Manhattan is saying, we got our own problems, so we're going to hit New Jersey drivers.
Well, how can that be done? I mean, it sounds like double taxation here. And is that legal? Clearly, the Biden administration has given it a bit of a green light, even though it's still in its early phases. But what can New Jersey do about this?
Well, it's just been, as you pointed out earlier, first stage approvals. There's multiple layers of approvals that have to come through the federal government, in part because we send so much money to the subway and to MTA every single year from the federal government, $1.4 billion, in fact. And during COVID, we gave New York City, and this is something that I worked on in a bipartisan way, $14 billion to help the public transit system of states, including $14 billion to New York alone, to the MTA. So you have to go through multiple approvals. We've had no public hearings on this at all. But we've said to the new Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, we've said, listen, let's halt this. Let's actually have a proper study on what this would do to a $100 million a day economy. You're trying to get people to come back to New York right now, as you know, to start commuting post-COVID. When things are, when we get through this, we're going to want people to come back to New York and start commuting. So many people from New Jersey, as you know, pay income tax into New York because they work part-time in New York, right? Or work every day in New York and get some, right? So already paying a fortune. What will this do? And what options do New Jersey drivers have? And how they can build, you're a middle-class, hardworking family trying to make ends meet. How are you going to make this work? So frankly, what I've said, and a couple of us have said, if New York wants to go ahead with this congestion tax and whack our drivers, we should stop giving them federal money to New York for the MTA, and that's the choice they want to make. I don't understand why we should do both. This is not,
it sounds like,
sit down and fix this.
If you want to go down this road, it can be a two-way street, and that sounds like what you're trying to emphasize here. So let me talk about the GW Bridge. It is the busiest toll bridge in the world, but New Jersey motorists use the bridge will not be charged under this current plan, right? Is it going to stay that way?
No, the GW Bridge will be charged. Under this current plan, what they're saying is that the Lincoln and the Holland won't be charged. In other words, you'd get a credit for what you paid on the toll when you got into Midtown that would come off of the congestion tax, except for the GW Bridge. They'd say, well, that wouldn't count. You'd get hit with both. And you might imagine that suddenly a lot of people are going to start driving down in the Holland and Lincoln, which would be a disaster for traffic and for smog and everything. But on top of that, for a lot of people, they don't have that choice, and they're going to have to go over the GW Bridge. Ironically, from some of the outer boroughs, some of them would get a credit going over their tolls, and others wouldn't. So I was talking to a member of Congress from represents Staten Island, and she said that they're not going to get a credit. So she's in the same situation with Staten Island as we are in Jersey, right? They're going to get taxed twice. And I think we should all pause here and say this doesn't make much sense at all. We've always had, since 1921, the Port Authority relationship. Let's go back. Let's sit down and figure this out. Manhattan's has mismanaged the subway. I'm sorry, they got to take care of their problems. The answer is not to say, let's stick it in the hide of Jersey.
I mean, and there's so many different aspects to this. Like you talk about Staten Island, like you talk about Jersey, the different tunnels and bridges and what gets taxed, what doesn't get. There's a lot going in this and a lot of confusion still. In fact, New York would be the first state in the country to implement congestion pricing. So are you working on a better model, or is it just putting a pause on this?
No, I think the model right now is to say this is not the way to do it. I mean, here's the challenge. I'm somebody who really cares deeply about the environment and looking for people to take public transit, and we're doing everything we can to support New Jersey Transit, right? But the bottom line is in a lot of places in my district, there aren't mass transit options, right? People have to drive if they want to get to work. So in certain cities where this model has worked, it's because there's great public transit options, and unfortunately, we're just not there yet. We've got a tunnel that's crumbling that we're fighting for, right? The Gateway project between New York and New Jersey, so that we can get more trains from New Jersey into New York. We're looking to build, we need to invest more in infrastructure, which is something that I'm a big believer in. So this really is about one thing. You're like we got to take it out of someone's hide here, so let's just take it out of Jersey's, and unfortunately, that's not the right approach. I think that I know the MTA's got issues, but you don't just stick it to Jersey as the solution.
Well,
and
I
so
think
what we're gonna ask for is to not do this congestion tax. It's not the answer. Let's actually find other solutions working together to help each other out through this pandemic and long term. Let's not in the middle of a pandemic say to people, we're going to hit you with a new $3,000 a year tax. It's just not right.
Yeah, that can be very devastating to families out there. All right, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, thanks so much for being with us today. We appreciate your efforts.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care.